Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Insider's Edge podcast here on the WZWA Network. I'm your host with the most on the West Coast, Karlifornia in Fury. It's a joy to be with you all once again. And speaking of a joy, right here, right now, I get to speak to somebody from the wrestling business that has certainly made a mark in the last few years, especially for me and my fandom of a company that you may know a little bit about now, XPW. Ladies and gentlemen, she might be beautiful, but if you put her in a death match, it becomes an anarchistic animal. She is the one. She is the only. She is Lindsay Snow. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's really great to have the opportunity to talk to you, Lindsay. And first question, as per usual, on the show. Before you got in the pro wrestling business, how did you become a fan of pro wrestling, if you did?
So actually I was a fan as a child. My dad and I, we would watch wrestling together, and The Rock was really big whenever I was young. So my dad and I, he would be cooking and like ask if I could smell what The Rock was cooking, and like we do the eyebrow stuff like back and forth to each other, just like classic growing up in the 90s stuff.
Yeah, that's cool because from what I found out through my research was that you and I are actually pretty much the same age. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. So like where you've been, I've been there too. So I'm guessing, the Attitude Era was quite a big thing for you, growing up. And during that time, wrestling was so cool. It's cool now, but everyone, it
You don't
seems.
get in trouble for watching it now.
Exactly. Exactly. A few years after it wasn't as cool anymore. Like you'd have to kind of keep it quiet at school that you were a fan of wrestling, otherwise people might make fun of you. But at one stage, everyone during that time period, you could just be at a fast food outlet. Someone in front of you in line is wearing a NWA shirt or an Austin 316 shirt.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we were very lucky as fans back then to have at least felt what it was like at that point in time. But time wears on during your fandom. What point in time did you think to yourself, you know what, I want to do this finally. I want to get into the business. What made you decide to do it, and how did you go about
So well, I was watching pro wrestling, like you know, basically 10 years ago, like was watching it all the time, like seeing Paige and the Bella twins and Charlotte and all those girls coming up. I was watching all of them and I was like, whoa, these girls, like I know, like I'm in CrossFit right now. I was like, I know that I'm athletic. I know, like, Charlotte does a lot of CrossFit, or she used to, or whatever. So like I was looking at all of that and seeing everything that I was doing. And I was like, wow, this could really correlate. Like, I really, really, really want to do this. And then I was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the time. And I just so happened to like be competing and everything. And I really got the taste for it. And I was like, wow, like I really want to like continue doing this, but like maybe on like a bigger stage or something. So that's where pro wrestling came in, because now I get to do jiu-jitsu on a like pro wrestling level. Like I'm still getting to introduce people to jiu-jitsu that wouldn't have normally seen it, that watch pro wrestling. So basically how I got into pro wrestling was I was tattooing, and because that's my day job, is I tattoo. I've been tattooing for like the past 18 years. But yeah, I was tattooing one day and I was watching wrestling, and the guy that I tattooed was like, wow, that's really weird. This girl is just like sitting here watching wrestling and tattooing. I was like, no, 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 you don't understand. I want to be a pro wrestler. I'm going to be a pro wrestler one day. And he's like, well, I do pro wrestling. Why don't you just come train? And so that weekend I went and trained, and then eventually I got to meet Jay Lethal, and then Jay became my trainer, and the rest is history.
Right, that's cool. So just happened to be because you were tattooing somebody watching wrestling. Boom, here you go, straight into it. That's amazing. Okay, you go through some training. When is it time? When does Jay say, you know what, you're ready? Tell me about your first match. How did it go? I love these stories.
Oh man, my first match was against Brandy Lauren, And like she was like the only girl that would wrestle me. Everybody was like scared to death of me because like I had this reputation from, you know, being from jiu-jitsu that like a lot of people were intimidated by that. And so a lot of girls thought that I wasn't going to be able to work. So they didn't want to work me. So Brandy, she stepped up to the plate. Thank the Lord, because without Brandy, I wouldn't be here today. I thank her all the time. I still talk to her. I have her name tattooed on me. That Shotzi actually did. So it was pretty funny. And then I tattooed I Heart Brandy on Shotzi.
That is so
But
cool.
she was my first match. And then like for some reason, like we'd always like in practice, she would always be heel and I would always be face and stuff. And then like, you know how that shit breaks down. But for some reason, when we got to the venue, we decided that I was going to be heel and she was going to be face. And it was just like hilarious. And I'm just really thankful that she was there for me because, you know, we all know what can happen in a pro wrestling match.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really cool. I mean, so you know, there's people that are there for you earlier on in your career. Would you say there's somebody, you know, aside from you know, your trainers and all that, somebody in particular that might have taken you under their wing during your early portion of your career?
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely been like really, really blessed. There's been quite a few people that have really like stepped up and really like helps out a lot. Bonnie Maxon, she Radiant Rain. She was one of the people that really like stepped up and like started helping me in like the very, very beginning of my training. Then like later on, Shannon Moore helped me a lot. Then, you know, like as time goes on, like I get to meet more and more people, and it's really kind of cool when you get to be at these shows with these people that you've looked up to for so long, and you know like they get to impart knowledge on you, like Necro Butcher. I get to
Yeah.
sit around and hang out with Dylan, like, and just pick his brain. And like lately that's been pretty rad.
Absolutely, that's cool to hear. And speaking of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I mean, the experience could come in handy, clearly. Look, during my research, I found a clip online of somebody taking liberties with you, and then you gave them a bit of a receipt. Is there a story there, or was this a bit of a work? I don't know. But please tell me.
No, it's exactly what happened. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's exactly what happened. She tried to take liberties on me, and then I had to take liberties into my own hands, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. And like it sucks. It shouldn't happen.
No.
Like things like that shouldn't happen in pro wrestling, but they do. And when they do, you just have to be prepared for it. So yeah, I'm really thankful that I did have the training that I did.
Yeah, of course. Someone's taking liberties, going to whoop some ass. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's what's going to happen. Since 2016, you've wrestled a lot for Shine. I've heard a lot of good things about the company. Can you tell me about your experience there? Because there's always a plethora of talented women on the roster.
Yeah, I've had some of my favorite matches that I've ever had at Shine. Like against Erica Torres, Lexi Gomez, just to name a couple that like some of my favorite matches. Actually, I'm about to have another match back with Shine coming up here soon. And I'm gonna face Kimberly and Eva Lise for the Shine Championship. So that's gonna be a pretty big deal. That's what I'm preparing for right now. That and right before that, I have a title defense at IWA in Georgia, or IWE. That's where I've been the champion there for like a little bit over a year, the female champion. So it's been pretty rad. But going back to Shine, yeah, man, I've had some really, really great experiences there. Some really like just awesome moments. And I've gotten to travel like all over the country with Shine, gone to like a lot of different cities, met a lot of different people, got to wrestle a lot of different talent and learn a lot from them. So I'm really thankful. Thanks, guys.
That's very cool. Another, I'm just going all over the place here in your career as throughout this interview here, Lindsay. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport in 2020. You have a real chance to show what you're capable of in this style of wrestling, like a style of wrestling like this, anyway. How do you feel you took to this style? Because I only watched the first Bloodsport for me this year, so it's very different. But something a bit different like this for you, it must have been pretty fun.
Yeah, I love this style of wrestling. It is my ultimate favorite. And like anytime that people come up to me and recognize me, most of the time it's actually from seeing me at Bloodsport. So yeah, just the style of wrestling comes so naturally to me just because it's basically what I do on a daily basis when I'm training in the gym, when I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm trying to like hit submissions on my friends. I'm trying to, like go for the kill, but like in a not so like murderous type of way in training.
Right. Like when I watched Bloodsport, I found it really interesting because it was such a stripped down version of pro wrestling where the littlest things seemed to mean so much, because a lot of it was a bit of grappling, a bit of submission wrestling, but someone would hit one thing and the crowd would blow up. Whereas, these days, there's, 50 high spots in every match. So I just thought that, it would be interesting to bring that up with you, because it seems like it's so different. You know what I mean?
It is. It is. It's very, very different. It's a much different style of wrestling, and the fans are even much different too, because they tend to be more like UFC type fans that want to watch that style of pro wrestling. So that's been kind of cool too, to kind of bring those style of fans in and get to introduce them more to pro wrestling, because they aren't, as you would normally, like they aren't your normal wrestling fan, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. And speaking of different styles, when did you start to sink your teeth into the deathmatch wrestling style, and how did you take to it like a duck to water?
Oh man, yes, actually I did. I I never like felt more of a natural at something in my life. I know that's like a very strange and peculiar way of looking at things, but yeah, man. In 2020, I had my first death match, and that was basic. Or actually, let me rewind that. It was 2000. Yeah, it was 2019. No, it was 2020. My bad, 2020. And my first match was like a scramble type match, but it was still really fun. And then I got to have my first one-on-one with Neil Diamond Cutter,
Oh.
and that was really a really sick match. I love Neil. He's fucking good dude. That's a good dude right there.
I agree. I interviewed him maybe about a year and a half ago, and he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Look, death matches, pain. There's a lot of pain involved. As somebody who's clearly had a lot of tattoos, you felt a lot of pain. Do you like pain, Lindsay? Is that what makes you a good deathmatch wrestler as well?
I don't like it, but I don't know. It's like every time I have a match, and like I'm sitting there after the match and I'm just like sitting there covered in glass and blood and shit. And then I just like think back to this one quote from Fight Club, and it's like, okay, after a fight, everything else in your life gets the volume turned down. And that like specific quote kind of resonates with me, because that's basically how I feel after a match. I feel like everything is calm, like, and it sounds like such a probably like psycho way to like talk, but it's the truth. I really do love death matches, and it's like a special art to it. Yeah, just like go out there and hope for the best. You have to know what you're doing out there, and you actually have to really like the other person out there with you has to know what the fuck they're doing too. So it's definitely like an art.
Absolutely. And one thing that, I mean, this is the first thing that I thought when I saw you, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have said this to you. You get compared to Luna Vachon a lot. You know,
Mhm.
how do you feel about that comparison with her? You know, she was such a wild, crazy woman, as we've seen from our fandom in pro wrestling. You know, do you find a little bit of influence from her, or is this kind of more like a coincidence, I suppose?
Oh no, for sure. I'm super honored whenever people say that like I remind them of Luna because Luna was amazing. Um, like I just look at it as a compliment because I look up to her a lot. And yeah, it's weird whenever people like Gangrel tell you that, people that really knew her.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I feel like it's like a super big compliment, especially because I've looked up to her. She is like the epitome of a women's wrestler to me. She had everything.
Absolutely, she was real badass, that's for sure. Um, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the other places that you've worked. You worked at NWA Power Dark Match on January 25th, 2020 against Rocky
Mhm.
Radley. Why did this not lead to more work with the NWA? I was a little surprised to see that it was just one match there and that you didn't go back, but my research could be
Yeah.
wrong.
I don't know what happened either. Oh well, I blew my knee out. That's what happened.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that kind of sucked. But I'm back now. So who knows? Maybe you'll see me back on NWA TV.
Yes, so hopefully William Patrick Corgan will give you a call at some point. I don't know why I find it funny making fun of him now being known as William Patrick Corgan instead of Billy Corgan. Me and my friends think that he's just trying to pretend that he's not the singer of the
A
special.
different person,
We know
like
we know we know who you are, bro.
like when Garth Brooks became Chris Gaines.
It's funny stuff. Late 2020, you got the chance to work on AEW Dark against these names: Thunder Rosa, Evilise, Big Swole, and Penelope Ford. How was your AEW experience?
It was rad until I blew my knee out. So
Right.
yeah, I had a great time there. As you can see, like I had a ton of matches, and it was in Jacksonville, which was where I was living at the
Uh,
time. Now I'm back in Tampa, but yeah, Jacksonville is my hometown, so it was cool to wrestle in a stadium that I had got to watch get built. Like Altel was there, but the stadium beside it, the Daly's place, which is where AEW wrestles, that was being built in like my childhood. So it was kind of cool to wrestle in a place that I seen get built.
right. So that damn blasted blown knee might have cost you a few opportunities. Um, how is the knee? You obviously you're back to your best now.
Yeah, I'm back to my best. I'm back training. I'm back doing jujitsu. I'm back doing death matches. I'm back doing all the dumb shit that my doctor told me not to do.
I actually saw a lot of chatter on Reddit. Well, I Google your name, I type in the word Reddit, see what people have to say. A lot of
Mhm.
people were hoping, AEW fans, from what I saw, that maybe you were going to get signed. Would that be something that you'd be hopeful for in the future, or are you kind of comfortable doing the independent kind of scene whilst focusing on your job as a tattoo artist?
I mean, who doesn't want to get signed, right? So obviously that's pretty big. I would love to be signed. That'll be phenomenal for me. Anybody, to be signed is sick. Um, Once you hit that level, you're just like, all right, I finally freaking made it. That's how I felt whenever I was at AEW for those tapings and stuff, and whenever I was at NWA, and even like the couple of times I got to go to WWE, I was like, sweet, I finally made it. But then like you have that little taste, right? You're sitting there in catering and you're just like, I want to be signed. I want to do this like all the time. Like, so it's kind of like it's bittersweet, I'm really thankful for my opportunities, but that doesn't mean that I'm happy with what I've done. Like it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop at the accolades and accomplishments that I've achieved so far. It just like makes me want it more.
Awesome. I think you'll get there. You just keep chipping away, my friend. I have faith. Um, uh, when did you first get contacted about working for XPW, and did you know a lot about the company's history prior to the the new XPW taking place?
Yeah, I mean, when you're going to go work for a company, you kind of got to do your research nowadays and learn who you're working for and everything. So I kind of knew like going into it who I was working for. But I hadn't met Rob and Kat yet. I just went off of like homie word, like the through Schack, like I trust that dude. So he's a good dude. So going and like seeing who was like in the locker room, I was like, okay, all right, okay. And like sometimes there's people in the locker room that I'm just like, okay. But
It is. It is.
that's at every show.
Of course. And speaking of Schlack, I've interviewed Schlack. I think Schlack is like one of the nicest people I've ever had the chance to talk to. But you take one look at him, and you can be very, very scared of him.
Oh my God.
Tell me a little bit about your friendship with Schlack, and let everyone out there know that he's not such a scary guy.
Okay, so the like one of the first times I hung out with Schlack, like after my knee surgery, where we went to go work for Ricky Shane Page is his promotion, his old promotion. And it's actually sorry, now it's Circle Six, which is Mike's and JB's promotion. But yeah, so originally went to go work with Mike. Schlack was on the show. Uh we get there and it's like this crazy like cheerleading competition on the bottom floor, and we're wrestling on like the second floor. Like it was a giant auditorium, so it's like a really weird building. And like it's me and Schlack, and me and him show up at the building together, and like we're like the heavily like most heavily tattooed people on the roster. And we show up, and like all these like moms are like grabbing their kids and like looking at us all crazy and stuff. It was the funniest thing. And Schlack was just like, oh my God, it's so fucking cute. Like, like he has like the complete opposite reaction. And I was just like, man, see all these people, they just look at you and they just see a murderer. They don't know that you're just like the nicest dude in the world. Literally, like, hope that if any of these little kids fell, he would be like, oh, here, I'll help you up. Or like, here's a band-aid or something, like he's a good dude.
Absolutely. The XPW had this thing where they were doing like a bunch of no ring death matches. I think at the burger place that Rob owns, Theater Brutality, I believe they called it. And I was watching it live, and I saw in the live chat everyone reacting to Schlack as the MC of the proceedings, and he's clearly having a few beers throughout the evening. He could have been more funny, like lovely, like your friendly neighborhood Schlack. That's what's what
Yes.
Okay, XPW Beautiful Disaster on June 25th, 2022 against Ludak Shaitan. How did you enjoy that first experience in front of the LA XPW fans?
Oh man, they're so great. They're like some of the nicest people. I just show up there and they have like blunts rolled for me, like a handle for me, whatever I need, they have for me. And it's just like, here you go. And like, oh my God, everybody is so nice. What is this?
Yes, no, it's a different experience for a lot of people. I interviewed Camille, and I wanted to ask her about that because she's just used to wrestling in front of the NWA crowd that kind of sit down most of the show, and
Oh yeah.
they're wrestling fans, whereas these XPW fans are a little bit more loose. Speaking of Camille, you've been the IWE Women's Champion for at this stage over 400 days. There's another female wrestling champion who's held onto their belt for a while, which is Camille, the NWA World Women's Champion. I'd like to see you work with her, but are there any other ladies that you've got your eye on working with?
Yeah. I really want to work uh Kelsey Reagan again. Like I just really love her so much. I'm Man, there's just it's so freaking many. Uh like all of the females on AEW, I want to work like consistently bringing it. All the females at WWE too, for sure. Indie people, there's so many great girls on the indies right now. And Ali, she's amazing. Ali Catch. Um, man, Dark Chic, I love her. Edith Surreal, love her. So many like really, really great people that I haven't got a chance to work yet. I would really like to work Marina. I think
Yeah.
that would be really fun.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. Yes, you have so many that you haven't ticked off the
Yeah.
list yet. Because when I look through your list of people that you've worked with, it's still technically kind of relatively, early into your wrestling career, where you can, compare it to somebody like, I don't know, Mickey James or something like that, who's worked with a lot of people at this point. So you've got so many to tick off, and I hope to see you, get out there and work with somebody like a Camille or, Steph Delander, or there's so many, and it'll be really cool to see. And XPW have a women's division there. So you've been IWE Women's Champion. Would you like to add another bit of gold to the trophy case? Is XPW Women's Championship, is that on the horizon for you? Hopefully.
I mean, I've gone there consistently and fought time after time and shown, what I can do. And no matter how many times uh they knock me down, I'm still gonna get back up and I'm still gonna go there and fight and try to get all the championships under my belt that I can. So
Good,
that's
because
the goal.
it seems like Sage Sin, Lou Dark, yourself have been quite mainstays there at XPW. So I think things are going good for their women's division there. And you've made yourself, at home there in XPW. You have worked for the company 5 times in the last year. What do you think of that style of pro wrestling that they do? Because it seems like they're a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it. I like what they do because it's kind of like my kind of wrestling. Like, I like that it's a bit more adult oriented. I don't like,
Yeah.
as Schack calls it, baby powder up the ass pro wrestling. Did you like the kind of controversy type of stuff that the company leans into?
Yeah, I mean, there's shock value. That's what, that's what helps the company get views. So if it's working for them, that's, I'm on the ship too. So I want it to work.
Absolutely. It's just every time they do a show, something kind of controversial happens, and then you go on Twitter, and then everyone's talking shit, and like, oh, they're ruining our business. That these wrestling fans that think they're in the business.
Mhm.
It's stuff like that just drives me insane. It's like, you're allowed to have a little bit of controversy. It's fun. Gosh, what do you want?
Yeah. Nobody's ever happy. That's what I've learned in pro wrestling. You can't make everybody always happy.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. Even when something's absolutely brilliant, there's going to be someone that goes, I didn't think it was that good. It's like, what do you
Right?
mean?
And they just always shit on your shit.
It's like, what do you mean you thought Bret Hart versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13 sucked? What's wrong with you? Is there anything else that you hope to achieve in pro wrestling, Lindsay?
Yeah, I definitely want to go to Japan. That's like been all I wanted to do since I started pro wrestling, is get to Japan and work in Japan. I would love to live in Japan. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I could see you
But
flourishing there.
thank you. That would be rad. I would love that so much. I want to do that, and definitely I want to be signed. Like, who doesn't want to get signed? But I've already like had so many great opportunities that I'm so thankful for. I'm not ready to stop.
That's good. I feel like you're on the cusp of something great. You're very, very close. You're doing great already, but you're on the cusp of something. I feel it. I feel it. And
Like,
Japan seems like, that's right up your alley. I think the Japanese wrestling fans would take to you quite well. Would you be interested in wrestling for a company like Stardom, or would you be interested in working for maybe some of the deathmatch companies over there? What will be more for your cup of tea?
I would like to work for Stardom and just show everybody that I could work for Stardom. You know, I definitely would love a death match in Japan. That's a dream come true. Are you kidding me? Like, that's literally a dream that I have, is to do a death match in Japan. But I would really like to be able to like go and work and like live and do like dojo life. I think
Mm,
that would be the sickest for me.
definitely. I just watched the Stardom show the other day. It's the first time I've ever watched Stardom, but I've seen some older Japanese women's wrestling from back in the 90s. But I would say, like, put you in there with those ladies for like 6 months. Like
Yeah,
the pro wrestler you're going to come out as afterward is going to be just 10 times what you are right now, right?
yeah, exactly. And I would love that so much. That's a life goal right there.
Yeah, when I watched it, I was like, I can't believe how I can't believe how quick they are. I can't believe how clearly they've done some work putting the match together and all that. But they're going so quickly. I'm like, how do you even remember? It's like playing Call of Duty,
Everything.
you know? It's like
Yeah,
everything happens so quickly. It's amazing what they do. It really.
it really is for sure.
um, so is there anything that's going on in your life right now, Lindsay, that you'd like to plug, that you'd like to let anyone know about it?
Um, I'm tattooing in Tampa. You can catch me at 13 Roses, off Armenia and 275. You can reach me on Instagram, Twitter at the Florida Ma'am. If you want to make an appointment. Other than that, I have my title defense coming up in May 20th at IWE against Avery. Then coming up after that, I have the Shine title shot. So I got a lot coming up. I'm really thankful for, and yeah, come get tattooed by me.
That sounds great, Lindsay. And all that information, everyone, even where to find Lindsay on all social media platforms, will be in the description on YouTube. And now, Lindsay, we get to find out about your favorite things. And the
All
first
right,
question about your favorite things is, who's your favorite professional wrestler of all time?
Kristen Wall,
Very good. Do you have a favorite opponent over the years?
Brandy for sure. I love Brandy. Without
Excellent.
her, it wouldn't be pro wrestling.
That's good to hear. Last one about wrestling in this section. Do you have one match from your career so far you'd say is your favorite? Someone says to you, Lindsay, show me what you do. What would be the match that you'd show them?
Oh man, that's there's so many that I would choose from. It just depends on what you want to see from me. If you want to see a regular wrestling match, me versus Lexi Gomez at Shine. If you want to see me in a good death match against a dude, me and Neil Diamond Cutter. Or actually, me and Atticus had a really sick match. That was really fun. And me and Jimmy had a sick match, Jimmy Lloyd. So that was really sick too. Um, those were all really fun matches. A death match against a girl for sure, Lou Dark, because Lou is sick. uh, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, getting away from wrestling now. Do you have a favorite book?
Um, kind of. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, actually, let me go. Hold on, I'll go get it. I'll show.
Okay, cool. Seems to happen a lot, ladies and gentlemen, with favorite book. A lot of people on the show like to go and get the book and show because makes sense to do so. Thanks for being here with us on the Insider's Edge podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I had to grab two. Got physical chest. Oh wait, there you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Physical chest. That one's pretty sick. And then catch wrestling, stepping into the snake pit. That was pretty sick too. Oh man.
Right.
Ugh, there we
There we
go.
go.
Right.
There we go. Very nice.
Those two are really good. That's what I'm reading right now, at least.
Right. Fair enough. Got some good choices there, it seems. Do you have a favorite TV show, Lindsay?
Okay, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I love 90 Day Fiance. I'm obsessed with that show. And Catfish.
Oh, I love Catfish as well. But look, if you feel a little bit ashamed of your favorite TV show, though, that 90 Day Fiance, just remember when I interviewed Sabu, his favorite TV show were the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay, so
That's a real one right there. I love you,
yeah.
Sabu. That's the real one.
Could not believe it when he said it. Oh, so the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu loves the Real Housewives. Great stuff.
That's amazing. What universe are we in right now?
Exactly right.
What is this world coming to?
Lindsay, do you have a favorite film?
Yeah, I really love Wes Anderson films, and like it's kind of cute now that the trend on TikTok and Instagram is like turning everything into a Wes Anderson film. Um, I I love every single Wes Anderson film. So, Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic is definitely a huge favorite of mine. And then, like, every other Wes Anderson film. Then I like films by Jared and Jerusha Hess, like Gentlemen Broncos that's definitely a really good one.
Nice one. Very cool. Next one. This is always a tough one for everyone on the show, Lindsay. Do you have a favorite musical artist or band?
I don't really have a favorite artist or band because I listen to so many different types of music. I can give you a favorite genre of music.
Sure.
I really like souldies, which is like it's a mix of soul and oldies, but it's just like stuff that was made like recently. But sometimes like you'll get like some really good soul from like that was just recently made, which is crazy, but it sounds like it was made, 50 years ago.
Right. I was always wondering if people still made music like that these days, and it sounds like stuff from back in the day. So that's cool to know. Like, is there anyone still doing Motown? Like, I don't know, but
yeah.
Because I think Motown's triumphant. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But getting away from the arts now, Lindsay, do you have a favorite food?
I love food. So I would have to say like curry chicken and roti is probably like my favorite. But man. Yeah, I would have to say curry chicken and roti. That's probably my favorite.
Very nice. Do you have a favorite place to eat on the road?
I usually try to like go and just buy stuff in the gas station, like fresh stuff. I'll get like the little adult Lunchables and like some nuts and stuff. So I usually try to just like buy stuff like that because I don't really like fast food like that much. So I try not to get it. But if I have to, if there's like a PDQ, I like PDQ a lot.
All right, cool. It's a bit of a relief to finally not hear the words Waffle House after that question.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing open after shows. So that's usually the go-to after.
Right, fair enough. Okay. They've got 3 to go here, Lindsay. Do you have a favorite alcoholic beverage? And if you don't drink, just a favorite beverage in general.
Yeah, I drink Tito's. Just vodka straight up.
Excellent. Good to hear. Second last one. It could be considered the naughtiest one, but it could also have a very meaningful answer, Lindsay. You see a good-looking guy, what would be like your favorite male body part? What do your eyes go to first when you see a good-looking dude?
The mustache.
Really? That's the first time I've heard mustache on this show.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess you like a bit of what's it called, Magnum PI or
yeah, like good like push broom or like the
like a
sweet
bit of like a,
handlebar.
yes, right, like a Rick Rude mustache or a
Yeah.
Dan the Beast 7 mustache. He has a great mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don Fry.
Don Fry, absolutely. That's a hell of a mustache.
Yeah.
That's cool, Lindsay. And the last one here, do you have a favorite curse word?
I say fuck all the time. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's the one I use the most.
Right, it's your go-to. It's your go-to.
Yeah.
Right. You take
I also like have been like accidentally like catching myself not cussing, you know, like instead of saying, oh shit, like I'll be like, oh shit, because like I got a niece and a nephew, so I'm like trying to curb my language for, you know, when I talk around them.
No, I know the
But
feeling.
like,
I know what it's like.
yeah, I'll just like I'll catch myself replacing cuss words with like random words.
Like fudge or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Lindsay. Well, this has been really fun. You know, we've had a little chat here, Lindsay, and my face is hurting a little bit from laughter and smiling. So obviously, this has been a good time. I really appreciate your time here on the show, and I like to say this right toward the end of the interview with a lot of my guests, you know, because I think it really means something. I live in Perth, Western Australia, which is actually the most isolated city in the world. So the fact that you got a fan from the most isolated city in the world all the way over here, that's pretty cool, I think. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you. So I know that I was telling you about 90 Day Fiance earlier, but I also watched this Extreme Sisters show that comes on after 90 Day Fiance. And there are these two twins on that show, and they're from Perth as well. So I don't know if you've seen like these two ladies. They're the most identical twins in the world, evidently. But
Right.
there you go.
I'll have to Google that and check that out. That's cool to see some people from Perth getting out there. But Lindsay Snow, thank you so much for your time. This has been really fun for me, and I wish you nothing but the best. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, Lindsay. And thank all of you out there for checking out my exclusive interview here with the one and only Lindsay Snow. I'm Karlifornia. This is the Insider's Edge podcast, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.